Sib versus nosfa. It's going to be our next matchup here for our latest week of Quake Pro League, where I'd like to welcome everyone back. Hope you had a cup of tea or a drink of water or whatever. And my name's Ketchup, joined by ZSX for this week's action. And as we continue, there's a lot to talk about with both of these players, Dan. So I think when we talk about nosfa, he's looking really good at the moment, and he's looking a lot better than when we had seen him for the past extended few months. To be honest, it's been really nice to see nosfa kind of come back into that form of a player that is a real people pleaser, and he's just super high octane and impressive. Sib definitely did a great job, I think, at the finals themselves of showing that he wasn't a player that was stuck in that kind of limbo anymore, of could easily beat challengers, but the Pro League talent was too much of a mountain to climb. Unfortunately for this stage, it does actually kind of seem to be that he's still very much in that point. And I'd like, for his sake, to kind of see him maybe get a win today.
Ooh, interesting. I don't know if he will. I think this is a matchup I've really been looking forward to because, as you just said, nosfa is a man that kind of snuck under the radar a little bit with his performances last stage, even though he shouldn't have done. Him coming out, I think, top 3 at the end of the leaderboard, and then showed us exactly why that was the case in the finals and really put in some commanding performances, and just feels that he's found a bit more of a balance to his game and more confidence in his playstyle. And now he's looking incredibly good, and I'm excited to see how he does when we get back to LAN. And as you said, Sib is now at that point where he's just come back into the Pro League and obviously coming out of a high, but is getting a bit of a learning curve now in terms of the quality that's needed week in, week out to stay in this league. And so nosfa might be a bridge too far for him.
Of all matches, this is going to be one of his tougher weeks. There's really no getting around it. Like for Sib, it'd be lovely to see him kind of get a win. I think a map would be really nice here, just to kind of any kind of information that you can gauge from these weeklies, right? Where strengths and weaknesses might lie. If you can get a map, it's great because you know what you can kind of maintain and move forward. And if there's anything you need to improve on, then it is what it is. On that note, let's take a look at the picks and bans so we can find out what the champions and that are going to be. Starting off with the Ruins of Sarnath, Sib going in again with a big emphasis on hitting hard with the damage. Now, nosfa did take the clutch away, which is always a bit of a personal pick. So taking that away from Sib, especially on Ruins, is going to matter a lot. But then, Corrupted Keep we get to see. But then, I think I know why you went, we see Slash.
Yes. I mean, nothing too unusual in the first 2 maps, as would it be expected on those 2. I like the picks from both of them. The Death Knight on Corrupted Keep is a new meta pick, and that's a great map for him. But yeah, that Slash on Molten Falls could definitely cause Sib some problems. It's pretty much the only map left in the pool where she shines. Can work on Ruins as well, but really strong on Molten. And nosfa plays a strong Slash. So it's an interesting pick. We haven't seen her come out a lot. I can't remember the last time I really saw her at this level. So I'm interested to see that.
Yeah, there are many elements that we don't really see Slash all that much. Part of it comes down to just how squishy she is. I think a big part of it in Pro League, surely it has to be map pool as well. She was a very common pick on something like a Blood Covenant, which currently isn't in play. We don't have Tox at the moment, although I know that Tox has done quite well for himself in challenges so far. So I'm hopefully looking forward to being able to see more of Tox in the future. Really glad to see him back, in fact, actually. He's always been my favorite player, especially with that kind of Slash. It's disgusting. But a story for another time, I think, as now we're jumping into our first map. I think we've readied up and now we're actually jumping in. A series that favors nosfa. If he's able to continue playing the way he's been playing for months, really, he should have quite a comfortable time here. I don't think he's feeling any pressure today.
No, I think this is a series that could be a confidence builder for both of them. It's a chance for nosfa to really lay the smack down and show everyone how good he is. But at the same time, if Sib pulls out a map or even 2 maps, massive boon for him, for someone that got really far in the later stages of the finals last time. So it could be a great series for either one of these players, however it plays out.
Well, always seems like with this kind of matchup, chat's always kind of in deep discussion. I like seeing chat kind of always have like favorite players, right? It's a huge part of why I love what Pro League has, that everyone's got a story and every player has their own kind of community of people that watch them, they stream, make content, whatever it is. They'll kind of back their boy going into these matches. Now, we're checking things out from Sib's point of view first. Now, Sib has especially in Quake Champions, he really kind of seems to like those champs that have those big abilities, right? I think a part of that comes from him being very much a Quake Champions player of the Quakes. But nosfa opens up already and gets some fantastic shotgun damage to open things up.
nosfa looking like a proper Chad today. Like, look at those traps.
Oh!
Look at those rails to go with it as he comes out swinging, taking Sib down. He's going to finish him off with a shotgun as well. Doesn't even take a rail before he dies. Perfect frag from him.
Do we have enough webcam space to cover nosfa at the moment today?
No.
Never enough. I only ask how hard it is for production to fit you into the camera every week.
nosfa's putting me shame today, particularly with the skills he's showing. And he really is one of my favorite players to watch. But Sib is creative in his own right, but has a long way to go if he's going to be matching the likes of nosfa. And that's not the best start from a minute in, 2-0 down. But won himself a mega here. nosfa should have played a defensive game. Big rocket though, and that nullifies the entire pickup from Sib. And there goes a Pika as well. Great usage. Done nice little chip damage and a rail. Sib definitely needs to respect the positioning of nosfa down below. He goes in aggressively, doesn't pick up the heavy, but does get a frag.
I like that play from Sib, kind of just not being tempted by the little bits of armor and everything else that might drop there. Kind of just disregarding it. It's not going to be a priority when you have the light armors to take. In this case, lovely rail. I was going to say, being able to take a light armor uncontested on this map can sometimes be a luxury that's rarely given. So he's going to take full opportunity of any opportunity he can get. But now nosfa gets another frag to make it 3-2. Sib kind of just getting caught in the wrong side of town right there.
Yeah, can't afford to give away a free frag like that. Now just look how healthy nosfa is as well. Plenty of time before the next range of items, meaning he can go aggressive here. Using that stack advantage, hits the row and then repositions onto the mega as well. Even stealing away the light in the process. A perfect play by nosfa. If Sib is there with the spit and he does connect, but it does nothing as the mega is there just to knock it away. And once again, a perfect use of the pickup.
Sib running for his life at this point. He knows that nosfa's unlikely to chase!
Wow, nice.
Yeah, with the heavy in play. And I really think he can kind of get in and out. By that point, position was already compromised and nosfa had the rail angle ready to rock. nosfa's off to a fantastic start. He's done himself a considerable amount of work and we really have only just started this map.
He's also got both items on lockdown. Sib has barely touched an item so far, living off scraps. And nosfa's making good decisions. He's pushing in aggressively just before the pickups. If he's got the stack advantage, he's playing defensive when he needs to be. Whereas Sib is looking a bit vulnerable. He's taking the fights, taking the bait almost when nosfa is extending out.
Opening rail. Kind of baits it out a little bit with the Pika. All that really does though is create space. You know, it wasn't about the damage that Pika created, it was the opportunity. Sib drops down towards heavy, but he is incredibly early, and I think just opting to turn around, right? We have to just give up some control. I love that play though from nosfa. He's actually, although he wouldn't have seen it, his read was bang on the money. He's not near heavy, which means he must be trying to get armor. I'm going to look at the light, and he looked away right as Sib went around the corner. But
big fight here as Sib sets up for the mega, but that rocket will really push him away. And wow, an easy frag, the rail conversion. nosfa's playing clinical so far, and Sib only has 1 heavy and 3 megas to his name, already 4 minutes in. Caught here down by the lightning gun for another easy frag for nosfa. Sib sticking around too long. He does hit a rail, but that's okay. But once again, it is just for a major item, so doesn't have much worth.
that opening rail doesn't do much, but it does for nosfa, who now will just trade it out and will be the one in the position. This scares me. nosfa just picked up the light armor. What the hell is Sib going to use now, besides that one that's over there? Already shut down on both of these items, and at the same time, pushing forward. There's no way Sib was ready for that. No way Sib was ready for that. nosfa is 2 steps ahead always.
Yeah, once again, another perfect read. The situational awareness from nosfa is spot on, because even if he doesn't kill Sib there, he's done a lot of damage, and he has an item to restack. But he does kill him, he has the item, and he has the health bar from this corpse to get back up to full. Once again, another good use of the Pika just on time, but this time Sib gets on him, but it's again a second too early. This is brutal catch-up.
Major push. I actually really liked that crouch slide just to make the Hyper Blasters miss right there. think a lot of other champions might have got stuck in an almost unwinnable situation, but nosfa were able to kind of get in and out. Only hit by one of them, I'm pretty sure it was.
But after all that, Sib did a lot of damage. Yes, he took a rocket, but again, he's too late for the heavy. So look at nosfa, sitting pretty.
Looking just like the common occurrence at the moment. This is a tall order for Sib to come back. The entire map has just been restricted. And even though you are that larger champion, you got some movement, you got some stack, so you're not going to get bullied fresh off spawn, but that's clearly not been nosfa's game plan. The game plan has been to just maintain control, take all of the items away, and then just land damage when it's presented to you. When they have to throw down, nosfa outstacks Sib. Happy to hit the shots he needs to hit. It's some good little rails. And
2 minutes ago, I said Sib was sitting on 3 megas, 1 heavy. 6 minutes in, he's still sitting on 3 megas, 1 heavy. Just displays the absolute dominance from nosfa. He's even picked up nearly the same amount of lights. Sib's only had 7 lights as well in 6 minutes. It's just been a really commanding performance from the Brazilian.
He knows that Sib's likely to be up where the light is. You know, it's like I said earlier today, does concede the frag. You know, the spray doesn't particularly favor him, which is surprising considering he was against a Sorlag there. But, like I said, the problem with Ruins can very much be when you're behind at those lights. It's rare that you'll get a light unchallenged, and that's just a really nice little turnaround there. The LG was all he had, but the LG was all he needed under those circumstances. And he spawns and surprises him. Bonus damage on the rocket. He's going to drop down, but Sib takes considerable damage in the process, which opens up for starting machine gun. But I think having starting machine gun so far, that kind of just shows what kind of game plan he now has. He takes the mega, and he does secure a frag. So 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes, 5 frags, sorry, in 3 minutes is what I meant to say. Was technically possible, but I still think this is too much of an ask.
Yeah, I think it's the frags that he's been getting a bit messy, which is exactly why we see nosfa cleaning up and trading a frag and then cleaning up to get a perfectly clean stack and item control, absolutely fine. There's also an item up in the heavy, but Sib wants to commit for the mega and it's just not the play. And nosfa gets another easy frag. Sib gets the spawn by the LG, so can't even push in really for the item. nosfa though, respecting that and just delaying the death before picking up another free item. Clinical display.
nosfa's weapon usage, phenomenal. Hitting the shots when he needs to. I can only imagine it's quite frustrating being a large champion like Sorlag, a champion kind of infamous for being able to outstack you in almost every single fight. Yet here is nosfa, a medium. And even if he's just fragged you, you fight again, and somehow he's able to just sustain over and over again and hit those shots. It's frustrating when that happens, because it's like, can you just die, please? And really nice plasma to chuck. Less than 2 minutes on the clock as nosfa's just going to go through the rest of this map. Pretty uncontested. Sib already having to, I think, go under the waterfall a little bit and figure out how do I get this upper hand, because this map has been nosfa's sequence of just, I know what you're going to do, I know where you're going to be, I know what you're going to try and pick up. And I'm either going to take it first, or I'm going to let you take it and just kill you.
Yeah. nosfa's found a lot more stability in his rail as well. I think one of the reasons why he was struggling a little bit in the past is, one, he was very rail dependent, and two, he would then have periods of time where his rail just wasn't connecting. Here we see 60% rail, but we also just see a more stable game plan. That if he did miss rails, he has the stack to fall back on, he has other weapons to use. So again, cultured performance.
Another push in. Easy pickup for nosfa. At this rate, might even break the 20 frag barrier. This has been a rather dominant showing. We've only just started the series. So the snowball effect could still happen. nosfa ready for the rail angle. Delicious little pickup. He is trying to hit that maybe 20 bomb as we close things out. Doesn't want to let Sib get any bonus frags though. The defensive play, oh my good lord. Melting the face of the Sorlag. Can he pick it up? Looking likely. Can he get one more? Here's the choice to make. Can he get the final one? Can he get 20? He's so close. 4 seconds. Oh, no, he missed. Almost. We were almost there. But
He
what
deserved
really
20.
is there? What is there to say about that map that we weren't really covering in the closing moments? I think nosfa just, in its purest form, outplayed Sib. Sib wasn't really able to get himself back into it, was horrifically out of control, and every time an item was about to spawn, nosfa was always in position. And it wasn't like in between items, Sib was able to get considerable damage to almost make you not want to be there, or maybe stop your advance. Just nothing worked out.
I mean, I guess on the flip side, it just felt like Sib didn't have a plan B. He wanted to use the stack of the Sorlag to go aggressive on nosfa, but he was getting bullied, and then didn't really have an answer. There was a few times where he tried to take position on Mega, particularly up in this choke point, and just nosfa hit some great shots. And ever since then, it was just Sib running around the map, taking 3 rails, not doing anything to nosfa.
nosfa has forever been a people pleaser. There's a reason he's a fan favorite. I like those like small smirks when a player does something really godlike, but they're too focused to really like pop off too hard. So they're just kind of like, yeah, that was sick. Moving on.
Seems Sib is also restarting his client as well, so we'll just need a minute or two. I think we're also going on to nosfa's server as well, so that was definitely Sib server.
Just looking at the items, or lack of in Sib's case.
Lack of 2 heavies is almost brutal. Like 14 and 16, 2 and 5. You can see discrepancy already.
But you can also see that side of Sib and how rail happy he tends to be as a player. Look at his damage dealt, right? So minimal damage from anything that wasn't LG and rail, but even the rail being over 2,000, matching that and then some of nosfa's. But Sib forever being, the rail is his star weapon. And it pretty much always has been.
Yep.
Problem is, if someone is matching you with that, and maybe you don't even have access to rail all that much, because maybe they're kind of keeping a keen eye on that. By taking a rail, you're taking damage that you can't really risk taking or giving up. That kind of goes into the plan B that you talked about. You know, when you need to kind of have that. Right, this isn't working out, what do I do next? But I think the only thing that gives that to you is experience, isn't it? And experience
Definitely.
can only be gauged by playing in this circumstance and as many community tournaments as you can, or anything when there's more on the line than just ranked points, you know?
Yeah, but I think like given Sparty as an example here, like who's another rail heavy player, watching nosfa in that map, there was really no situations where I picked out where it was nosfa like using rail to save his life or in a high risk situation. It was always at these nice, creative and safe angles where if he connected, great, he had an opening to push in on. If he didn't, he can fall back onto items. So he wasn't then pushing in close range with rail and forcing issues. It was just nicely controlled and positional and just reading Sib around the map. And as you said a couple of times where he was kind of waiting at these angles where Sib was going, you could just feel that he just had Sib's number the entire time.
It's one of those kind of classic moments where anytime an item was there, nosfa was there first, nosfa had an angle, nosfa opens up the damage. If you take something, it's because he kind of wants you to take it and then he'll rail you. Big part of that came from those light armors, particularly the one that was near Tribolt, which was just a huge pain. And then we started to see the kind of development of that, where then nosfa is starting to not let you take it to hit you with a rail. He's picking it up before you can. And then you kind of ask the question of, okay, so one potential saving grace of at least keeping stack high, or at least contendable when you're taking all these items. Now he's taking that, so an already difficult job has just become even harder. But now we've loaded into Corrupted Keep, and the warm-up is coming to a close here. nosfa and Sib rocking that Death Knight, nosfa with the Ranger, which is very much a playmaker's champion, and we know that nosfa is the playmaker's playmaker.
For all this chat of rail catch-up, we now move on to the only map in the pool without one. Not to say that nosfa is a rail-only player, far from it. So he also plays this map incredibly well, but he's going to have to now as he goes in aggressive right into the fire as well. He's going to back off. He even gets a frag in the meantime. Yes, he's ticking down, which means Sib will be pushing in, but without that flame strike, might be futile.
Corrupted Keep has plenty of opportunities to get those lights, get stacked back up on track, and an uncontested 71 damage when nosfa was already kind of looking for a bit of an angle to escape a big victory, and way earlier on heavy than Sib was. In and out, no challenge. And he has the LG in hand. This is where things change, potentially, for nosfa to be even more of a bully than he already has been. Tribolt versus heavy machine gun. At that range, only one gun's going to win. They're going to get some LG, but Sib taking so much damage in every push that he makes. Oh, there's the flames.
Lovely flame strike, and nosfa has to go in just to steal away the item. He might survive if there's health there. He doesn't decide not to. He said he just resets the stack and wants to go for the heavy. Realized he had nothing to do. Fortunately, spawns way away from where he wanted to, so game plan was there. Didn't work out, but nice use of the flame strike from Sib.
Oh yeah, very good. Kind of created this unsurvivable situation for nosfa, who definitely just took a suicide there just to reset things, spawn a bit faster. Got to keep those item timings in mind, as now the next one's going to be Mega, but it's one that nosfa can't really challenge. He's only just spawned. He's got a rocket launcher, and that's kind of it for this situation. And if he made his presence known on that Mega, Sib absolutely would have pushed forward. So we have to kind of go into stealth mode right now as we reset. Look for some bonus damage. I like Sib's readiness there, though. Already had it ready himself, just in case he was looking to pepper down some damage. It should be an easy push. Sib gets another frag. Here we go.
Yeah, that's nice, and there's a big split between the items as well, but nosfa might actually steal a worse away. He doesn't have the exact timing, but he drops onto it and blows up Sib. Wow. Sib going in aggressive. He knows he needs to do something over by this heavy. He manages to get it. Takes a lot of damage himself, but it is just before the pickup.
And this is just naturally going to be one of those maps where you've got to be ready for the never-ending brawl. It's really no time in between. nosfa was able to kind of play that slightly slippery game, but at the same time, Megan now spawns. Sib picks it up. Really looking to push forward before Mega, oh sorry, Heavy, as that he's just looking to get as much of a difference between their stack as possible. But as long as there's a delay, now this is that chance for Sib to maybe start to pull away. But it really depends on how this next fight goes. I don't see nosfa giving it up too easy.
No, nosfa's chip damage there has stabilized the stacks, meaning he has an opening here to push into the Mega. He's not in the best position though, and the flame strike's always going to be a challenge, but nosfa comes away with the frag. He's ticking down, but he has the Mega there, and that nice play by nosfa just to play that range game. He's doing it better than Sib. He's going aggressive. Sib wants to cut him off, but he doesn't have any weapons, so you've got to question what is he doing.
I'd tell you exactly what happened there, because I was watching it from Sib's point of view. He spawned near rocket side, but with his like jump down, he missed the rocket.
Oh,
and didn't have time to go and pick it up. That's a rather tilting way to die, I think, when you're just missing a weapon down to something as simple as that. I really hope that... I hope he's not fussed. I hope he's not phased by it too much, because nosfa is starting to extend the lead here. Sib is keeping himself competitive. He's keeping himself on the map, but in doing so, limited as anything when it comes to weaponry. Now, the rocket launcher is still all that Sib has, and even then, he's only got a few rockets in the tank, 4 of them. That's not going to be much to challenge here at all.
No, and at the moment, he's just plus forwarding into LG, and look at the stack disappear. nosfa's definitely playing the mid to range game better than Sib at this point, and we see the scoreline spiral a little bit, 5-2. And now the item control also is beginning to stabilize as nosfa's getting himself back on the map.
Sib's taking these items, but his weapon management has not been the best so far. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of this through his point of view, and there's just been a lot of fumbles here. And consistently kind of running rather low on ammo too, in situations where he's gonna struggle, you know, coming through the teleport, and he's got no rockets, he has only LGs, and it's kind of like, oh, what does he do from here?
This could be big, as now nosfa's got time and stack to pressure this heavy, so he might have full lockdown here. Sib is there, he uses the flame strike and actually does a huge amount of damage. So this is exactly why nosfa's been reluctant to make that type of move before, because once the flame strike is up, it can just turn a fight instantly on its head, and that's exactly what happens. Now he's on the back foot, back to heavy machine gun. So good pushing by Sib.
And he knows full well that Ranger's almost dead. He can hear it. And he'll seize the opportunity and take yet another one. Great time to get a frag as the Mega spawns. That delay continues. And Sib in full control of the map, but always having to keep in mind where nosfa might be. nosfa with a basic regular stack and a dire orb can absolutely compete in a close range brawl. However, as now Flame Strike's just about to come back, this is why nosfa is keeping him at arm's reach, avoiding a close range fight as much as possible, because that's where Sib's going to have this ultimate advantage. Has hit some really nice rockets, but without armor. Sib is still playing with fire! Oh, and they can't quite trade it. Too close to cooldown.
I mean, that was ballsy to go in. It didn't work, but he did leave Sib very low, so he still managed to get himself onto the heavy, but giving up a frag, and Sib is restacking. Didn't feel that was a necessary push. Might come back to rue it as he hasn't got an LG now. Sib is just going to defend that weapon with his life. Flame Strike up in 8. Big utility for him to get that back up.
A major opportunity, and nosfa, he has got to get out of there. And get out of there he shall. Sib's Flame Strike is ready to rock. Ooh, we nearly see a rocket connect for big damage. Again, more area denial, putting nosfa into a kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If he goes towards Rocky, he gets caught on fire. If not, then here comes Death Knight from the other side.
Exactly, great use of the ability just to cut him off. Didn't work out, but the item control is there. And once again, there is a large split between the items. Sib can afford to take some needless damage, but he's been caught in the air. Also done loads of damage, but the stack is once again good. Pinned, but he gets a frag and ties it up.
It's just coming down to those major items being maintained. Sib has phenomenally more stack than nosfa almost every single time they collide. Nosfa does good damage, but it's not enough. And he's pushing forward towards heavy. He's way too early and will be punished.
But he has to do something. He only had a shotgun to work with. He really has no hope. He needs to get onto an item. Even if he stole it away and died, that was the key there. Fortunately, neither happened. So he just ended up throwing his life away. Catches Sib once again, but the stack is too big, and the Death Knight is showing how powerful he is. As soon as he's got that Flame Strike for cooldown, nosfa is always in fear of his life.
A bit of a fumbled orb, it looks like. I think tried to escape and get out clean. But as even more of the flames are created, what does nosfa do to escape? Looks like Sib's giving him an opportunity to, but at the same time, he gets a heavy out of it, so he's going to be happy with that. And both items spawning.
Ouch. Painful.
Yeah, absolutely.
nosfa really struggling at this point now. It's nowhere to turn, and Sib is patrolling the high ground. And he's just trapped, and it's kind of fruitless. The item control is beginning to tie up in terms of timings for both the items. So that's an opportunity. If you can delay the pickup of the next item, you can get on the other, and he's going to have to with only 2 minutes to go.
And Sib's just going to keep the items in mind. This is really the end game, right? If we can take these opportunities for nosfa to make a comeback away from him, and there really is no comeback to be had. Sib has been cycling around this map for the vast majority of it. The Flame Strike used less for damage and definitely more area denial, which is obviously one of the major factors that Flame Strike is now much better at now than it ever was.
It's just so powerful. nosfa does get a frag, so he's got a glimmer of hope here as the Mega is up, but he took so much damage and just getting that frag, it's going to be tough. Sneaking around, the Flame Strike isn't up, so this is the time to push. Sib just needs to plus back for another 2 seconds, and he can afford to wait around.
I like that patience from Sib, though. He's waiting for Flame Strike to come back. The second it happens and we have a close range fight, that's where the tables can be turned, very much so.
Conversion is entirely possible. nosfa doesn't need to chase this. The Mega's up as well. He can't afford to give that up, so he Dire Orbs in. Perfect use of the ability. He catches Sib, but Sib's ready for it. He's got out on top for now. And once again, the Flame Strike hasn't been used. And nosfa needs to be just slightly careful. He catches Sib down below. Flame Strike misses completely, but somehow Sib gets that frag and will get him a map.
That was a really nice turnaround at the end and a bit of breathing space, perhaps, for Sib. As we now go into the final map, it's one map apiece.
Yep.
We were kind of talking about Sib needing to kind of gain some confidence, perhaps, from today's series, and already being able to get a map on the board is a great start. It could go his way in the final moments as well, but that, above all else, is still information, right? The Death Knight's looking crispy. The fact that in that entire map, even looking at the control, 13 heavies and 12 megas versus considerably less for nosfa. Control was his. The map was his. Every fight, for the most part, was going in his favor. He just played it really well.
He did. It's almost the reverse of what we saw last map. This time, Sib with the full control of the map. However, the difference is he wasn't able to punish anywhere near as hard as nosfa. So nosfa did an exceptionally good job to keep the map as close as it was, but also didn't find a way in to break that control. The one time in the map where nosfa had that element of full control, You saw the power of the Death Knight come through over by the heavy. nosfa striding in to try and pick up that item and came up licking his wounds because he got bursted. And so from there on out, Sib had good full control of both items, and nosfa really just couldn't break that stranglehold until it was too late.
And from this point, you kind of just beg the question, what comes next? We know there's a slash on the next map. I believe that's getting picked by nosfa. So we're already going to see something a little bit more unorthodox, maybe. I think probably at this point, Slash has got to be statistically the least picked champion in Pro League right now. And it does bring with it an element of surprise, maybe. Because if she's not that popular, she's not a champion I think you can be as ready for sometimes. Because if she's not common, some tiny little finite details, they kind of get forgotten about a bit.
I mean, Slash just plays faster than anyone else, and you have to be, as you said, ready for what that brings, because it just changes the dynamic of the way you position, the way you think, the way you prepare for fights. Obviously, it comes with some inherent risks in that you're incredibly squishy, but if you get that head of steam and you get a stack, then suddenly, you know, you become a very powerful champion.
Now, I do think, let me just quickly double check. Yes, we've gone for a quick restart. So Sib will be back in a second, and as soon as he's back, we start the next map and we're good to go. But how about that? It's 1-1. I think a lot of people out there, from what I've been seeing in chat, I kind of think the common opinion was people were really expecting to see maybe a 3-0 here because of nosfa's recent form, where he's just been looking super good. Sib has been struggling in this stage of Pro League. For him, it's one of those things where, like, he's in Pro League, which is great, you know, because it's better than it was before, because he came in through challenges. But at the same time, now he has that map on the board. This will be minimum 2-1. I see. So I believe, I don't know if anyone actually heard that, but just in case they didn't, ZSX has had to quickly reset his production side of things. Hey, there we go. I probably could have got away with not mentioning it. I just didn't know how long it would take. But hello. Welcome back, friend.
Thank you. That's fine. I'm back. Sib's back, and we're going into the game because I heard the bell.
Speaking of which, just in time, because we're loading in. Galena versus Slash, though. So it's not a matchup that you see all that often, to be honest with you. It's going to be similar to maybe what we see, the game of sustain, defensive plays. Really, like, thoroughly enjoyed that Galena play from base earlier today. Very, very much so. Is it going to be comparable? Will the opportunity present itself as much? Because Slash is going to be a lot more high octane and kind of flying around this map, able to kind of scout out the totems, prevent you from being able to set up. She has a bit more of a rotation going. It's a great map to allow Slash to build up that lightning speed, because there's just so much space to curve and take those, you know, those paths that just lets her go frighteningly fast. Who's going to take the series? Do you still think nosfa has that 2-1 in it? I think he might be muted again. It really has been the day of tech problems, I think. It really has been. No one is safe. I'll be next on the list. But I tell you what, let's start things off from Sib's point of view. He's going to get himself LG side along with a rocket, so definitely could be worse. But the Sib that we know is always eyeing up that rail and will secure it. Able to get a bit more of that denial as the next item that's going to spawn being that Mega. How does nosfa cement himself? Already able to create an interesting angle. Sib ready for it. Unfortunately, neither player able to land significant damage. So this fight, kind of a bit of a stalemate so far. An aggressive rocket jump. Risky business from nosfa. But you know what? With those rails, it actually pays off. That was one of the biggest risks of the day. Well, I can hit. You know what? We'll just say that this continues right now, and you will be stuck with me, everyone, for a bit. I'm having multiple. Oh, well, there's been some disagreement in chat at the very least. As we push forward, though, looking for some rails. nosfa having to retreat, giving up a little bit of time to type in chat, though. And in this case, apologies, everyone. We can hear ZSX on our side, but I don't think it's coming through on the stream yet. So as soon as he comes through, I mean, I can hear you. We're good? Hey, we're good. Oh, what a day. What a day it's been so far.
All that top quality analysis only for Euros catch up as we have another engagement over by the Heavy. This time Sib does connect with the second rail, but nosfa is connected with more and he forces Sib away, but he himself is extremely low.
Wonderful drop down, but this is the extra element, isn't it? With how fast Slash is able to just fly onto these items. Setting up those rail angles is pretty tricky. Defensive play. Oh, I love that, though. Before nosfa pushes forward, the plasma trail to cut off all escapes. Oh, surprised to see that rocket not hit its mark. Must have narrowly been there, but Sib gets destroyed.
He just got deleted, jumping in. Yes, Slash was weak, but the rocket is bigger, and now nosfa gets away, and she has disappeared.
This is why we can still see Slash picked on a rare occasion on a map like this, where she can just glide around. There is no champion that can compete with the speed, which is actually where we start to look at maybe the next half of this map. If nosfa can create this opportunity to get a big lead, which I think right now he's kind of in the process of doing, because Sib, he's not going to escape. There's no way. Doesn't have the speed to do it. If nosfa then starts to play that retreating game, I don't know what Sib can do to chase it down. Apart from kind of just get some kind of good rail, perhaps, or kind of set some kind of trap. This has been a body bag so far.
And as risky as it is, I'm also really enjoying the hyper-aggression play from nosfa. Yes, it made him pay there. He got a frag from it. We just don't see that from Slash, and it's incredibly scary when he pulls it off.
Another direct.
Oh, no way!
Oh, he missed it! I mean, I can't blame him for missing it, getting sent that far off skew with the rocket, but sending Galena to the moon.
Wow, I mean, like 2.5 directs and a rail. Goodbye, Sib.
Pushing forward with more LG. Knows it's a tricky position, but there comes just enough splash to secure. Sib's still in this fight. There's plenty of the map left, and a big push! Even more so with that super shotgun. The next objective being Mega that Sib will be able to collect for sure, and at the same time taking down the lights. nosfa. This high-octane nature does come with it its set of risks, and in this case, Sib playing that strong defensive game, looking to take him by surprise, almost did, but yeah, the second you have these chases, you're just not going to be able to chase efficiently, but he somehow manages to get it!
Nice.
Maybe not expecting Sib to just go right up the jump pad like that.
This is where Slash could become a little bit tricky. Look at the stack difference now. nosfa just spawning, trying to hope that Slash doesn't get caught there and he doesn't get spotted, so he does get away for now, but with no resources on the map, really, he just got himself a light. He has to try and delay and just not take any damage. Unfortunately, he takes a rail and that gun sets him back once again, but he does hit 2 of himself. Nice use the heavy machine gun, but nosfa is there to connect once again. Down by the heavy, but there's 3 seconds to go. Trying to delay him, which he does and does well.
I think what I love about that entire play from nosfa is we get to see in its purest form just how important this rail is for his strategy. The fact that he spawns, he knows that Sib is coming around the corner, allows Sib to just run right past him, because all he needs to do right now is get a rail. The rail allows nosfa to start this game. Now Sib having a nice amount of setup as well up top, it's going to totally nullify that teleporter. Unless nosfa wants to do an unsafe rocket jump, you know, right into there. There's no way he can control the high ground. Now he's able to clear it out just a little bit, but the rail, how much of a game changer it's been to get nosfa back in control of this map. He had the frag lead, but without map control and with the stack that Sib was working on, all it takes is 1 or 2 good rails, and he was able to chase it down.
Absolutely. nosfa rail once again been on point, but that was a crucial rail by Sib to stall the aggression from nosfa. You see, as soon as he took that rail, the tempo slows just a little bit. So crucial that you don't have this unreturned damage when you're a Slash in control. Here we go. Full stack now. He wants to chase down his opponent. He knows Sib hasn't got a lot to work with because he's the one sweeping up the map. Opening rail opens the door, but there's a choke point and there's some rockets from Sib. He's sticking around to fight, but he's given away the frag, and it's a relatively clean one because the Mega was picked up afterwards.
And now full speed ahead. A lovely defensive rail from Sib. I do like the fact that he hit that shot. nosfa's going to push forward because he knows you've only got a rail, so if he missed that shot, Sib would no doubt already be toast. drop down. But even then, we're sticking around. You've not got a rocket launcher. You can't pepper anything down here, can you? And the time he's wasting, it's taking him so long to get this frag, and he's still alive! Misses the shotgun blast! nosfa! There's no way. How? How? Oh, no, the disrespect.
Oh, I love it. Jesus.
That was, I think, the most earned disrespect I've ever seen. How did he survive that, Dan?
I don't know, but that was a teabag and a half. I love that.
Rapid. I think just like that, we're just going right back. Sib missing these opening rails, which is so unfortunate for him. Even more so, nosfa is sending a message in the closing moments of this map, I tell you.
Nosfarito. He's having a good time right now. He's taking the lead. He's got plenty of frags to work with. He can afford to have fun, and he knows that this is going to be a 2-1 to him. I'm sure he's barely frustrated he dropped the last second map, but it was really well played by Civ. But again, this is Slash played well and played at a high tempo with high risk, and he's managed to pull it off.
This is what I mean, though, ZSX. Like, you look at these two champions on paper. nosfa has 5 frags. He's trying to get Sib to self-frag. This is the most disrespectful display. This is. Man willingly went in and did nothing.
I mean, he's slowly breaking Sib's soul by doing this. So it's more than just a game for both of these players, I guess.
Oh,
he's going to go back for it. He's going to go back for it. There we go.
This has been an absolute murder at the closing moments of this map. Sib, unfortunately, just cannot compete with this, and I feel like he's just going to get styled on for the rest of the match. nosfa is going to take this for sure, but with the gauntlet out, how much more bonus frags can he obtain? He's already got the gauntlet. He's consistently having it. I think he wants to get a gauntlet kill in this minute. That's going to have to be his final objective. And with the Mega in hand, that's going to become a lot riskier. I'm kind of just watching. I just want to see what this... He does it! Oh, God. I didn't know he'd actually have the chance.
That was close. But this has been a... Yeah. It was a pretty close first 5 minutes, but then nosfa got that big stack, which began to punish Sib. And then I think that one frag by Heavy, where Sib just couldn't find a way to kill a vulnerable Slash, just killed any momentum he had to get back into the game.
And then when it comes to playing the end game, Slash is too fast. There was really very little Sib can do to chase this champion down. The GGs roll out. Well, one of them does. We'll see what happens later.
I thought he was going to flex for the cam for a second.
I thought so too. I did think so too. But you know what? That was very much a one-sided affair in the closing moments of that map, and nosfa definitely sending a bit of a message there. But let's just keep talking about it. There's a lot to break down in that set, but at the same time, the nature of how things came to a close, nosfa just started to really accelerate, I think. And the pace couldn't be matched, whether it was bothering. So there's always mind games to play. You know, this is a competitive game, especially the 1v1 nature. If you're able to get in the opponent's head, if they get bothered by anything, it is going to be an advantage. And in this case, the moment nosfa started to really feel himself, I think that was a point of no return. The moment we saw that first styled on frag, the map was over because they were going to keep coming.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's fun to see Slash back in the pool. And it was clearly a point to be made from nosfa's point of view, which is why he was playing as aggressive as he was. And then this is the frag here where just Sib couldn't find a way to kill the little Slash. Even used the totem to restack to keep going at him. And this is the moment Sib died inside and the game was over.
It's just a soul-crushing moment. He gets knocked down. He had no right losing that fight, yet somehow it happened, and it just continued from there. Yeah, that's going to be absolutely like the way you want to win a series. But I think at the flip side, a bit of a soul destroyer the moment that happened. So hopefully this is something that Sib's able to come back from. Remember, folks, this was a 2-1. Corrupted Keep did go to Sib. This was not a complete blowout. It's just unfortunate for Sib that nosfa was able to kind of take that map in such fashion. But nosfa's a people pleaser. He is a people's champ, and I think he is one of the more confident players that we have in Pro League. And those kind of exchanges are exactly why.
Absolutely. I mean, map 2 was really well played by Sib, and we said that nosfa is rail heavy, and without a rail there, it did look a little bit vulnerable when he was on the defense. We know how strong someone like nosfa is on the offense, but without the rail on that map, and against the Death Knight, he was struggling hard. So really well played by Sib there, but a deserved 2-1 for nosfa.
Just like that, we're moving into our next series. And if you've watched these shows by now, you know we've got a quick break while we set things up. Stay tuned, more Quake. We'll be back after this.